Now that I've edited my project launch, I'm up to now thinking about my benchmark. So if I come and have a look at my Echo course, I can see my first benchmark is called Identifying and Defining. So that needs to be the name that I change benchmark A to, Identifying and Defining. And I also need to move all of these activities into this benchmark here, benchmark A. So it's going to be called Identifying and Describing. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to edit this. Identifying and defining. Excellent. Grab it. Now I know that if I change the page name, then I'm going to have to change it here. So I'm not going to link it at this point in time. Edit my page name first. Identifying and defining. I wish some of these benchmarks were called shorter names. And then I'm going to go back to a project launch page. Oops. Sorry. Back to my home page. Project home page. I'm going to edit this and link this one in. So this one is going to go to identifying and defining. Beautiful. Save that. So now what I can do is I can start editing that benchmark page. So you can see over here that I have room here to put in all these resource links. And effectively, as I said, all of these things here as different activities need to be put into here. So I need to make a decision. I know that each of these are different tasks. So I'm going to have to think of a way of putting these into Canvas. I could set up different pages for each of these in Canvas, but I know that's going to make more and more and more pages. So I think the best way to do this would be hoping that whoever rolled out this project into our project library did these as separate documents, and going back and using those Google documents that were made from the project library and linking these activities, these separate document files, back into this location here. So what do I mean by that? I can see the first one is called setting up a Blogger account, and I know that this one actually goes to, this actually goes to a web page called wikihow.tech. So although it won't load here, what I'm going to do is I would replace this first one directly with a link that goes straight to this location. So I'm going to grab that back to here. I'm going to edit this. The task was called setting up a Blogger account, so I'm going to call this one setting up a Blogger account, and I'm going to replace that, make that a link to there. When I save that now and the students come to this very first task in this benchmark and click on it, it will take them straight away to this, which is an instruction guide on how to actually set up a Blogger account. So that's quite successful. The second activity is a bit different though, because it wasn't a link to an external website. It's actually a task. It's going to ask them to create a blog, post, and do some work. So I'm going to hope, fingers crossed, that when someone rolled this out into the project library, 7, technology, visualize this, identify and finding, and it was called Zero Blog It. Okay, so unfortunately that activity is not there. I'm going to have to set up an activity. That's okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new Google document with these instructions in. New Google Doc. I'm going to paste the instructions in, because that told my students exactly what I want them to do. Because I may be a bit slow, I'm going to call it exactly the same thing. And I'm going to make sure that I save this file exactly to the project library so that I can come back and find it if I ever need it. Okay. And once I've done that, I'm then going to grab this link and first make sure that it's shared. I'm going to change this. I'm going to share it so that anyone with the link has access at the moment. Grab that link, back over here. I'm going to edit this. Because my second activity over here now is going to be called Zero Blog It. I'm going to save that. So what we should now have is we should have an external link now. And our second activity, which is this one, should take my students to a blogging task with instructions. Great. So from my perspective, what we have here is exactly what the students have over here currently in Echo in terms of the 2 activities. Now I'm going to need to do this for all of the activities here, and as I said, if this has been rolled out well, then I should be able to do it with little trouble. And I'm just going to continue to follow that through, filling this part out. When I get over to this side, I can replace these elements with either dot points from my syllabus, or if there's an overall statement about what this benchmark's about, I could type that in. I should also add my driving question here so it's in the forefront of students' minds.